Many Crowdsource the Truth viewers have become aware over the past couple weeks that I've been making a number of changes, upgrades, improvements in an effort to increase the image quality, increase the audio quality. I've now, Mike, gone on an effort to really stamp out some of the technical bugs over here. This is the first show to implement the first round of that. I've eliminated Wi-Fi from the setup, so hopefully that'll minimize interference. How are you tonight, Mike?
Nice. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. This is going to be a good show tonight. I think, just like I
All
was
of our
saying,
shows are good.
they're always great, but people have
Yeah.
really become aware, Mike, that the FBI is super into falsifying 302 reports, beating the crap out of you in front of your young kids, picking on, septuagenarians like Jerome Corsi and Roger Stone, and lying before Congress in the case of Andrew McCabe. But now they're sitting around, they're trying to decide if they're going to do anything other than that stuff, like maybe prosecute some criminals. What have you got for us tonight, Mike?
Well, we're going to be getting into some deep stuff. We've been breaking news on this on the Patreon show every week. It's like old habit now. But I like the title of your thing on YouTube. It's FBI still trying to decide if they will ever do anything at all with Mike Moore of True Pundit. And then the first response is from Elizabeth Hudson. Hillary walking free, yet they are worried about Mike. This damn crap really angers me. Lock her up already. So the title makes it seem like they're still after me, which might be the case. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
they could be.
Elizabeth Hudson, relax. I don't think they're gonna be coming after me
no.
anytime soon.
Mark K is telling us that Lee is in the hospital. I was trying to reach him earlier. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
he's all right. I was reading from he seems like he's going to be out in a day or so.
He's under a lot of stress. Yeah.
We're all under a lot of stress, but he's got some personal things that are going on in his life that are not easy to deal with. And it's crazy. So we'll be talking about, there's so much confusion. I just saw a lot of people follow Paul Sperry on Twitter. He's a reporter, and he was been kind of dismayed all day, saying, I don't understand how they couldn't charge. The big news of the week is they didn't charge McCabe. Since the last time you and I talked, that all went down. Now, I know that seems like it's light years away, light years ago, but people are still scratching their heads. Sperry was scratching his head saying, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't do it. And I just saw this shortly before we went live here in the green room. You always supply a fresh buffet of cold cuts and fruit in the green room, which is always nice.
They come right from Wuhan, China. Fresh delivery.
I was on Montel Williams' show once, okay? I was on his show once, and they said, do you have any requests? Like before you go on, the producers. I said, yeah, can you make sure that there's kiwi? I like a little bit of kiwi rush before I go on. I was like busting chops, like one of those guys that said, make sure it's 70 degrees in the green room and not a degree more. I said, make sure you have some kiwi. I always want kiwi before I go on TV. And like I went on Montel's show, and I don't think he aired the part, but he's like, how's it going today? I said, damn it, Montel. You told me to have fresh kiwi here, and there was no fresh kiwi in the back, so I can't really predict what's going to happen the rest of the show. And he was looking at me like I was insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, the funny part about this, and we're going to get into it tonight because we'll be breaking some news again, but with Sperry and everybody else, it's very simple. I took a step back after reading that before we came on, like I said, before I got sidetracked by my beautiful people story with Montel. And it makes no sense because illicit behavior never falls in line with a logical way of attacking a problem solving, or trying to figure something out. Illicit behavior, corruption, fraud is the puzzle piece that never fits. So when something seems like it should make total sense, like Occam's razor, right? The simplest explanation is usually the truest or the best.
Yeah.
When none of those puzzle pieces fit, it usually means, at least in my estimation or my experience, that there's corruption afoot.
Yeah,
There's some
screwy
kind of
business.
fraud at play,
Yeah.
screwy business. So if people have to step outside the mindset of attacking these schemes with the Department of Justice and the FBI from a logical problem solving plateau, so to speak, and figure that none of this is ever going to make sense because there's secrets, there's shadowy things going on, there's side deals, there's schemes, there's money involved. So it's not going to make sense.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
That makes sense. I mean, basically, what I'm taking from that is that if you look at this as a logical person and say, well, wait a minute, why is William Barr not going to prosecute Andrew McCabe for exactly the same crime they're prosecuting Michael Flynn for, when the fact pattern and the evidence against McCabe seems actually a lot worse than what they've got in the case of Michael Flynn? But yet Andrew McCabe gets to go on CNN and have a ton of money. Michael Flynn, even if he's acquitted at this point, has been through the ringer for years under tremendous stress, psychologically, financially. You've told us it changes your life.
Yeah, well, it does. And you can either come back or you can't come back. And I had an interview where the podcast comes out tomorrow. Talk to people all week about what this does to you. Talk to agents all week about what this does to you when they come after you, and how a lot of people don't make it through. They, quote unquote, eat a gun. They kill themselves. And the Bureau never seems to do anything about it because they don't recognize it as a major problem, probably because it's very embarrassing to acknowledge.
Well, they don't want to hurt the
But
brand,
agents
Mike.
say, well, hurt the brand. I mean, how much worse can you hurt the brand than when your partners, your employees, your agents are killing themselves? I mean, it's you've tarnished the brand to the point where someone takes their own life. It's beyond hurting the brand. It's gone to the point where there's serious questions about who's running the show there, or what
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
not exactly an
sociopath, or
endorsement. These
well, what
guys
kind
are.
of sociopath as an employer, or psychopath even at this point, would sit around and get enjoyment out of you going down the tubes? These are people who whistleblow against the FBI, and they find out that this is not the place that you call out for breaches of honesty, and this is a place you keep your mouth shut. And if you believe in truth, justice, and the American way, and you try to blow the whistle on your employer, and your employer is the Department of Justice, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. No
Yeah,
job, or minimized, or alienated, or put out to
floating in the
pasture.
Potomac or sinking in the
Man, it's no
Potomac.
joke.
I'm not joking.
I've talked to no, I've talked to agents. Okay, I talked to one woman. She was telling me about she blew the whistle on the FBI, female agent, and she would come home from work and she's all effed up, and she would stare out her window. She had like a nice little backyard, nice manicured backyard, and she was thinking, "Huh, hey, 25 feet off the patio, nice little grassy knoll out there. That seems like a good place to kill myself. That's where I'm going to kill myself." So, and the only reason she did it is because she didn't want her family to find her, to look out the window and find her laying there. However, she was going to, I mean, she was obviously had planned on shooting herself. So this is what, but I've talked to a lot of people like this.
Yeah.
And I talked to one agent who's tried to kill themselves not once, but twice. The FBI doesn't care. These are people that blew the whistle on the FBI or tried to say, hey, this stuff's messed up. This person is doing this. This person is doing that. You guys are women, specifically women. Mostly their beef is that they've been sexually abused somehow, whether it's gone beyond sexual harassment. I mean, it's
Yeah, you had
actually
that story about the rape within the FBI.
2 rapes in the FBI in Los Angeles office, and they were just kind of glazed over. Ray did, and they both happened on Ray's watch, and he did nothing. And in fact, I don't even think they reported it to the LAPD. I think they just took it and handled it in-house, and they just told the agents to take a walk. And you don't have a job anymore, but geez, seems like a pretty good deal. Go out and sexually assault somebody and lose your job. You don't have to worry about being incarcerated. I mean, It's like one thing, Jason, it's one thing if this was the mafia, or if you're watching Goodfellas or something, right? This is supposedly once, I would say once premier law enforcement agency in the country. That's
When?
no longer.
Yeah, when was that?
Well, I would say in people's mindset,
Right. 1937?
just a matter of years ago. You know, a lot of this stuff didn't start coming out until Trump came on the scene, and I think that's part of the friction that's going out there. There's definitely friction between Trump and these institutional types. But you know, it doesn't take long for the truth to spread when it comes to the FBI and DOJ. I mean, when we started this in June 2016, that was our goal. And people say, "Ooh, I know why you started in June 2016." Some moron, Abramson or something. He said, "You started in June 2016 because that's when the meeting was at Trump Tower. Yeah, we got you figured out with the Russians."
That guy is so stupid.
I said, "Listen, Goodyear blimp guy, here's the deal, okay? I started it then because that's when I got off federal probation, you knucklehead. Like the day I got off probation, we launched the site. Because they like monitor every freaking thing you do, and they have you under their thumb. Like you can't even
They'll just
breathe
come up with some reason why something you did is a violation of the probation.
You couldn't even do it. You couldn't even do it. You couldn't. Yeah, you can't get involved in that stuff. And I said, I am taking it right to the wire. The first day, so I was tweeting and stuff for months and breaking little stories on Twitter, but I had no outlet. I said, the first day after probation pops, we're launching this site, and that's what we did. And so if it was on the same day of somebody meeting at Trump Tower, what the hell do I know? It's like, but the truth comes out. So it has exceeded my expectations since that time. We're coming up on 4 years. And the difference between people's mindset with the FBI then versus now is 180 degrees.
No, that's true.
And I don't know if we maybe played a little part in that. I hope so. That's been the goal. But it's not just us. It's many people now. Millions of people. This isn't just like a small group of people who knew that they were full of shit back in the day, 4 years ago or 5 years ago. I mean, if you worked in the federal apparatus, you always knew that these guys were full of shit, at least in my lifetime. Since when I jumped into the game from journalism in 1996, people were warning me about it, and I talk about it in my book. People are warning me about the FBI all the time. Be careful of those guys. Okay, you want to work for them to take their money, but watch your back. These guys are real slimy. And they are. And so that's come full circle, man.
Yeah.
That's full circle now.
Now, you mentioned the book, Mike. Should we talk? We're always talking about the various schemes that are going on and the government and its...
I don't even... These guys are... These Amazon guys, I don't... There's so much to talk about. We'll come back to that another time. These guys are the worst, okay? They're the worst. 3-4 weeks ago, the book was $6. Now it's $77.
No, it was $3.
I had to, in the stuff that goes on, yeah, it was $3. It's like a battle. It's nonstop, and it's somebody, and you can only buy one book, okay? If you want to put the money out, whatever it was, and who knows what it's going to be from day to day. Amazon sets the price. We have nothing to do with setting the price. So people think I'm insane. And you can only buy one book at a time. And I think it's like one book every 10 days you can get. Can you imagine in America, you log on to a place and you can only buy one book? And somebody said to me this week on Twitter, "You're running a scheme. Everybody knows the author sets the number of books that can be sold." And I said to them, why in the hell would you write a book and only want people to buy one copy?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Get out of here. Take a walk, pal. Scram. You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, what kind of harebrained scheme would that be? Let's write a book and we'll try to, when we sell something and let's minimize the sales just so we can stick it to the man. I mean, what kind of bird brains are out there on the internet? It's really brilliant bird brain. Anyway, so the book is like, I'm not even worried about the book. We got so much going on with this Hillary Clinton stories and the schemes that how much she was ripping off from the government, and other governments were working on that, in the background. This week, I've been focused on talking to FBI folks about what really is going on in there. Beyond McCabe. McCabe is gone, right? You would think McCabe's gone, but he had a lot of people in positions of power before he left, and they're still there. So, and
His own
Ray,
little kind of leave behind army.
yeah, he's got his own army in there, and they're not going to be moving out anytime soon. And what has Ray done? I mean, geez, just look at all the way from Las Vegas to now. People
Right.
think Las Vegas was on Comey. Las Vegas was on Ray's watch and Trump's watch. This wasn't on Comey or Obama. That happened well into of course, Trump's administration, well into Ray's tenure. What happened there? Are we still thinking that they don't know what happened? Really? Does anybody think that they don't know what really happened? I don't think that that's even possible.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about. And for folks that are out there scratching their heads saying it doesn't make any sense, it simply doesn't make any sense because the corruption is so thick and so dastardly when it comes to these guys that you cannot apply logic to it.
Well, it literally shocks the senses. I mean, it's like something that you can't conceive of, that it would be this broad and this deep and so pervasive.
Well, we can't conceive it because it goes against all the principles of what we're supposed to stand for. Now, so you're going to figure out now as a patriot, we are either completely full of shit, our government, and all that stuff we learned as kids. Remember the little cartoons like
Bill on Capitol Hill.
Schoolhouse Rock. Remember Schoolhouse Rock? Yeah, all those cartoons and stuff where you learn, oh, this is a cool country and stuff. We either have that, it's like we really do have a cool country, or we've just been hyped and sold a pile of dog shit. And it's not as cool as we thought it was. And the reality is it's pretty crooked. And if you go to DC and you try to do something about it like Trump, or as we or us as voters try to do something about it and put somebody in office like Trump, there's a whole group of these institutionalized robots there who were never elected by anybody who say, F you, we don't care who you voted for. We run the show. You're peasants who pay the freight here, who pay us and underwrite this whole operation. Keep your mouth shut or you'll be run out of town and hurt as well. It's like a thug mentality down there. It's like a cartel. We talked about that a number of times.
Well, we
That's
talk
what
about
we're
this
facing.
stuff all the time, actually. And the thing is, you and I, Mike, we talk about topics that are on the hot list for things that they want to basically terminate your YouTube channel over. So in order to get around that, what we've done is we've created this sponsor-exclusive show that people can watch every Tuesday night. It's on Patreon and Subscribestar. Sponsors of True Pundit at patreon.com/True Pundit. And sponsors of Crowdsource the Truth on subscribestar.com/Crowdsource the Truth and patreon.com/Crowdsource the Truth are going to enjoy a sponsor-exclusive broadcast that's starting in just about 10 minutes. You're talking about all these FBI people. It's amazing to me that Lisa Page was all over Twitter on, I guess it was Valentine's Day, basically sending a Valentine's message to Andrew McCabe. I think the tweet said something like, congratulations, she's out at a restaurant smiling. I mean, this woman, unbelievable.
Who can blame her? They have figured out a way to cheat the United States Criminal Code. They've figured out a way to, sidestep the Constitution of the United States. They've figured out a way to break laws and not be charged, and there's no circumstances for your decisions. They figured it out. They have pierced the veil from becoming public servants to becoming the elite protected class. So why not? Why not taunt us peons down here? We're just serfs. We're just chumps. Don't forget, we paid for all this stuff.
Right.
This is the party. We're the parents, and we went out of town for a weekend, and we came back, and it was like Risky Business at the house. You know what I mean? The movie Risky Business. It was
the egg. It's a chip in the egg, Mike.
The egg. Yeah, the egg is our country. I mean, it's like it's fractured from the inside, and it's going to keep getting bigger. But you would expect them to taunt us. That's what it's all about. They get don't kid yourself. They get a hell of a kick out of all this, watching us
Oh, I'm
squirm
sure.
around
I mean,
and
Andrew
and
McCabe's got to be
watching.
delighted. How much does CNN pay? I'm sorry to cut you off there,
He's
Mike, but
literally laughing. He's
he is
laughing.
literally laughing. So we've got to make the transition over to Patreon and Subscribestar here. We just a little bit of time required to do that, and I want to make sure people who aren't yet sponsors have time to log on, become sponsors of the show, even if they're watching the free shows or if they're listening to the Thomas Paine podcast or reading TruePundit.com. It's really important for people to become sponsors because independent journalism and this type of production can't be sustained without the sponsorship from the individual viewers. We're making a conscious effort to avoid big investments or large corporate sponsorships from companies that are going to maybe not want you to talk about how the FBI is screwing people over or some of the sensitive things that we discuss. We get into some pretty wild things. So I hope people will join us. And Mike will be on there in just under 10 minutes. So I'll see you over there then.
Good stuff, man. Thanks.
And thanks everybody for watching.